You are the master of your fate, the captain of your soul. When the English poet W.C. Henley wrote the prophetic line, "I am the master of my fate, I am the captain of my soul," he should have informed us that the reason we are the masters of our fate and the captain of our soul is because we have the power to control our thoughts. He should have told us that the ether in which this little planet floats, in which we move and have our being in a form of energy moving at an inconceivable high rate of vibrations, and that the ether is filled with a form of universal power which adapts itself to the nature of the thoughts we hold in our minds and influence us in a natural way to transmute our thoughts into a physical equivalency. Wow, that's deep. If the poet had told us of this great truth, we would have known why it is that we are the masters of our fate and the captains of our soul. He should have told us with great emphasis that this power makes no attempt to discriminate between destruction and construction thoughts, that it will urge us to transmute into physical reality thoughts of poverty just as quickly as it will influence us to act upon thoughts of riches. He should have told us, too, that our brains become magnetized with the dominating thoughts we hold in our minds. By means with which no one is familiar, these magnets attract to us the forces, the people, the circumstances of life, which harmonize with the nature of our dominating thoughts. He should have told us that before we can accumulate riches in great abundance, we must magnetize our minds with intense desire for riches, that we must become money conscious until the desire for money drives us to create definite plans for acquiring it. But being a poet and not a philosopher, Hanley contented himself by stating a great truth in poetic form, leaving those who followed him to interpret the philosophic meaning of his lines. Little by little, the truth has unfolded itself, until it now appears certain that the principles described in this book hold the secret of mastery over the economic fate. Another man who exemplifies master of fate is Steven Spielberg, one of the all-time great motion picture directors. He dreamed of being a movie director from childhood. He began making amateur films with a primitive camera when he was still a child, and the dream never subsided. How Spielberg broke into Universal Studios is a legend in the movie industry. He took Universal Studios Tour, an attraction that enables visitors to get an inside look at the movie business. Visitors ride around the studio lots on a tram. Spielberg sneaked off the tram and hid between two sound stages until the tour ended. When he left at the end of the day, he made a point of saying a few words to the gate guard. Day after day, he went back to the studios for 3 months. He walked past the guard, waved at him, and he waved back. He always wore a suit, carried a briefcase, letting the guard assume that he was one of the students with a summer job in the studio. He made a point of speaking to and befriending directors, writers, and editors. He even found a vacant office and took it over and listed his name in the building directory. I mean, that's with it, bro. Like, you want a job, bro. You want to work there. He made it his business to get to know Sid Sheinberg, then head of the productions of the studio's television arm. He showed him his college film projects, which so inspired Sheinberg that he put the young man under contract with the studio. His first full-length film, The Sugarland Express, received critical acclaim and won a Best Screenplay award at the 1974 Cannes Films Festival. Unfortunately, it did not do very well at the box offices. His big break came a year later when he discovered the book Jaws. The studio had already decided to produce Jaws and had chosen a well-known director to film it. Spielberg desperately wanted to make this movie. Despite the financial failures of the Sugarland Express, his self-confidence had not diminished, and he persuaded the producers to dismiss the chosen director and give the film to him. It was not an easy assignment. From the beginning, trouble beset the production. It ran into technical and budget problems. However, when Jaws was released in June 1975, it enjoyed twofold success. It broke box office records and the critics loved it. Within a month of its release, the film has taken in $60 million at the box offices, an unheard of amount at the time. Over the next few years, Spielberg directed several movies, including the popular Indiana Jones series, the award-winning The Color Purple, Empire of the Sun, and E.T. He later directed Jurassic Park, which would also become, at the time, the most successful movie in history, the third Spielberg film to break the record. It also brought in over $1 billion in gross receipts, toys, and other merchandises. Spielberg continues to pursue his dreams. When he and two other Hollywood moguls created their own production company, they called it DreamWorks. We are now ready to examine the first of these principles. Maintain a spirit of open-mindedness. Remember and read that there are inventions of no single person. The principles we gathered from the life experiences of more than 500 men who actually accumulated riches in huge amounts, men who began in poverty with little education or influence. The principles worked for these men. You can put them to work for your own enduring benefit. You will find it easy, not hard to do. Before you read the next chapter, I want you to know that it conveys factual information that might easily change your entire financial destiny, as it has so definitively brought changes of stupendous proportions to two people described. I want you to know also that the relationship between these two men and myself is such that I could have taken no liberties with the facts, even if I had wished to do so. One of them has been my closest personal friend for almost 25 years, and the other is my own son. The unusual success of these two men, success that then generously accredited to the principles described in the next chapter, more than justifies this personal reference as a mean of emphasizing the far-flung power of these principles. Chapter 2, Desire, the starting point of all achievements. We're going to get into that on the new video.